Morning, everybody. It's Eric from Sensory Dad. So before I get into the workouts and everything, this is day 4 of the the new workout regimen that we started. Just basically to battle a high burst of energy throughout the day to try to keep the boys behaving at school. Some ups and downs thus far. So just a quick run back. We're doing 10 wall climbs in the morning. So they're climbing the 6, 8 foot rock wall downstairs, going across down the ladder and back up. So we've continued that. We've also done that after school. The boys have been really good about participating. Now, last night was just horrific for Luke. He just kept waking up. Woke up to go to the bathroom a couple of times. He ended up, you know, taking my spot in bed, and I slept on the couch downstairs. So cracking and popping, a little sore. Just one of those nights. Um, he still tossed and turned most of the night, so he woke up, just a bear. So I don't anticipate, a great day at school. Yesterday, he got such a great day. They sent home like a smiley face and said that he had one of the best days he's had yet. So it's been up and down. I think he's had, 2 good days and one bad day thus far. So I don't it's hard to correlate with just a couple of days. Leo had an okay day yesterday. He was one below the good rating, and I guess when we were questioning him about it and talking to the teacher, he was just banging his hands on the desk because he was bored. So that tells me he's still got an energy level that is a little elevated, but this could be any kind of exterior variable, coming in there. Maybe the class was just something that he's already learned, at home. Some of it's review. I'm sure that that was part of it. The weird thing is, normally when he has an average or a little below average day, not a bad, horrific day, he has a great day that night at, sports, karate, or soccer or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know why that happens, but that seems to be pretty much par for the course. It's very rare that we have a great morning, great afternoon, and great evening, all bundled into one with him. But the most exciting news was ever since he said he wanted to play soccer. You guys know I was kind of against that, and I thought that it was going to be major meltdowns. And so the minute he asked to play soccer, we had like a month to get ready. So I've been taking him out to the field and putting up the cone drills and everything. And all three of the kids were out there for most of them. I bought him a little soccer goal, a couple new soccer balls, and been working a lot of basic stuff. And every time they'd have a game and I'd see him, maybe using his arms to try to bat down an inbound pass or something, or just in most cases in the 7 to 8 year old category, it's kick the ball as hard as you freaking can, and then 12 kids go running toward the ball, and it's a mosh pit. That's basically how it's been. There's a couple standouts on the team. Leo's done pretty well just because of his athleticism, but I wouldn't call him a soccer player yet. Um, he can kick the crap out of the ball. He's super fast, and he never runs out of energy. So that's some of the greatest attributes you can get for a soccer player. The coordination factor is better than most, but he's been doing okay. So last night he had the most absurd game I've ever seen. Like he took, for whatever reason, it was like that moment in the Matrix where everything makes sense to Neo, if you get the reference. Like he just understands everything coming down in front of him. He was reading defenses. He was taking pursuit angles. If you know anything about sports, he was stealing the ball. He almost had 3 goals. He ended up having one. They won easily. Um, there was one play in particular to where I realized his awareness and his mind had just grasped everything that I taught him. Him and a friend were sprinting back on defense to get a ball that was kicked into their zone. Leo was coming from somewhat of an angle, and this kid had a dead shot at the ball. He called the kid out by name and said, "You got it." And he turned, saw the defender coming behind him, and kind of was a blocker, slowed down his pace and blocked that kid's, ability to get to the ball. It was the greatest awareness I've seen of him in a situation like that. That he knew my buddy's got it. He could have easily outran the kid and got to the ball and kind of, took control of the situation. But he knew the better play was to protect his teammate and be able to get the ball back up into their zone. It was absurd. Um, One play, there was a big breakaway down toward his goal, and there was four players, and he was the only one that you know got on his giddy up and literally sprinted back and beat the other four players that were on the breakaway, outran them, knew that he was in trouble because it was 4-on-1, and his goalie was standing there like, holy crap, this is going to be bad. And he just booted the crap out of it out of bounds. I mean, into the opposing stands. That's how hard he kicked it. He turned around and looked, and I'm just stunned. I was literally stunned. There was at least four or five different times to where typically they'll throw an arm out and knock the ball down or forearm, and obviously that's not allowed in soccer. Um, he did the form perfect. Spread your arms out and let it hit off your chest or your knees. He trapped the ball under his knees and his feet a couple of times. Stole an inbound throw from a goalie by reading the defense and pursued the ball whenever the goalie tried to trick him and then throw it to the other side. Like, it was absurd. It was like seeing a man play against boys, and girls. He looked on another level. I'd never seen that kind of focus and just ability to process the entire surroundings and situation. He was cheering his teammates on. I mean, it was almost like he was a coach on the field. It was I've never seen my son in that capacity. So it was a super proud dad moment. I don't know, obviously, us working together has really helped, and cautiously optimistic, cautiously optimistic, that, he's just like, hey, after the game, a bunch of parents are like, wow, he's really good. And I'm like, okay, but, you haven't seen him melt down yet. It's almost like we're still fearing going over the edge, so to speak. He was fantastic. I mean, a couple coaches, the guy who runs the league, came up and said something to him like, hey, wow, great game. And then one of his coaches like, you should really think about getting him in year-round soccer. Like, he's just leaps and bounds. Like, from the day he started, that he wanted to quit and was having meltdowns on the field because people were bumping into him. There was a kid that he ran into a girl. They were both going for the ball, and Leo ricocheted and she ricocheted, and they both hit the ground. We're like, oh man, you guys okay? It was right in front of Jen and I on the bench, and both of them get up. Thankfully, they were both okay. And running back down, I think there was an overprotective teammate that saw, maybe thinking Leo knocked the girl down on purpose. It wasn't the case. So he shoves Leo, and then he jumps into Leo's like face area with his shoulder, trying to knock him down. Leo just literally swim moves him out of the way and pushes him back and just kept running. And then meanwhile, Jen and I are like, no, 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 don't hit him, don't hit him. Like, we thought there was going to be a brawl because in the past that would have set him off. That would have been kicks, punches thrown. Leo would have started using his tongue sudo and wiped the kid up, and he didn't. It couldn't have been a better evening to highlight every ability that he's had bottled up in his body that he just never let out off the leash. And it's not just that he showed that glimmer. It wasn't a glimmer, it was a shine. It was almost, half hour, 45 minutes straight of just everything he could have done right. One girl got hurt. She got kicked in the hand when she fell down. Boom, they call in Leo for a sub. He's on the attack. I mean, he just never got upset about coming out of the game, sharing time, was clapping for his teammates when another teammate scored a goal. Just a great moment. It was, I was beaming. I think I was more excited over the 50 other things he did perfectly over the goal. I mean, I didn't even care about the goal. The goal was fantastic. It was a steal. It was a really hard kick directed Like it was all, there was no lucky bounce. It was just a ridiculously good soccer play. And it was like, wow, man, he finally gets it. Tomorrow, Saturday, next week, it could all revert back. So I got to keep myself grounded. And parents, this goes the same way with therapy and treatments for your child. You, I know that this sounds stupid, but my wife gets so excited when something finally clicks for him. And this has happened with handwriting. This has happened with play therapy, conflict resolution, tongue sudo, coloring. Any activity that we've really worked on him with, to get better at. When it finally clicks, there's always a regression, back and forth, and there's just always so many things that can happen outside of the normal frame of a day that can set the day back. It can set the behavior back, the mood back, or anything like that. So that's why we're just like, you know, keep your excitement on a leash kind of thing. Well, I couldn't last night. Like I probably spent an hour after the game just gushing. Called my mom, that kind of thing. Like it was ridiculous. So just just gotta celebrate. The tremendous emotional victory we had last night with him. He's already, I said, hey, maybe tomorrow we're going to work on some other things. We'll work on kicks and, some other movements, dribbling and ball handling drills. I said, at the field, after school. And he's like, yeah, I can't wait. And I want to do this and I want to do that. Like he is completely engaged now. And I'd rather him be a scientist than an athlete. I could care less if he ever wants to play anything. But to see him finally feed in and understand and just grasp all the concepts was just breathtaking. It was really, just one of those things where you're just like, I'm gonna remember this day for the rest of my life. That's how great yesterday was. Even though he didn't have the great day at school, it's a lot of ups and downs in this journey with your children. I mean, it really is. And I just wanted to celebrate it up and tell you guys that I would guess, we're gonna let me get a couple weeks of data, on their behaviors. I'm gonna track everything and continue with the every day. It's gonna be 7 days a week with the wall climbs and that. Let me track it, and I'll give you a breakdown of before and after, to see where the behavior has gone. I think it's gonna work based on how it's been so far, but that could all change. Sleep patterns could definitely affect it. So I'll keep you posted. Maybe it's something we can do a workout or do like some different videos to where your kids at home could work out along with us. Throw some music on or something. Uh, if it works for us, maybe it'll work for you guys. All right, guys. Well, I got to get out of here. I got to go do some help my mom out and do some pavers and stuff. I just wanted to check in with you and let you know I had the most amazing night, and I hope that you guys have a day like that today. Thanks.